Hello, welcome to your sales clinic. So this is really fun. Hi, welcome. This is really fun for me. This is a new experiment. So this is an open space for you to come and ask me all your sales questions, all of your challenges that you're having, anything that's been bothering you, anything that's been coming up for you in your business the last week, the last month, any habitual patterns that keep coming up and you're just figuring out, how do I solve this? This is the place for you. I'm going to start talking about how to get more people to book sales calls while I'm waiting for people to come in and ask me your questions. I may not get anyone asking questions, in which case I'm just going to teach you and give you some really actionable steps for the three main phases of your sales process. So tune in. Of course, if you're live, come and ask me your questions and I will help you. I will help you figure out what is going on with your sales process, what's going on with your clients, what can you change. Okay, well, let's get to it. So first things first, a question that I have a lot, a question that people always come to me with is, I know that my offer is amazing. I know that it provides real value. I am so in love with my offer, but I'm not getting people reaching out. So the reason people aren't reaching out and the reason people aren't booking calls, let's go there first because this is really interesting. So there's a whole marketing piece that happens before this conversation. I just want to make you aware. There's the whole how you're getting your message out and how you're messaging, kind of positioning what you are selling. But this is the step in between that. So we're not talking about marketing today. We are talking about what drives your clients into taking action, into taking the next step with you, into actually doing something. Instead of just being over here consuming and listening to all your stuff and thinking she's amazing, I love it, this is so good. What is the tipping point where they're like, right, I'm gonna reach out, I'm actually gonna take action. So don't underestimate how much it takes for people to do this. So I've seen experiences from my clients and for myself where people will watch you for like 2 years and just watch and just wait and not be ready. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine that that is on their timeline. You can't control the timeline, you can't rush them, you can't make them wrong for taking as long as they take. They just take as long as they take. And other people will come in immediately. They'll see your post on a Wednesday, they will book a call on a Thursday. It can be that quick. So just release expectations of how long it should take. There is no should. But some really good principles to help you understand what actually creates that action taking, what actually gets your people from interested and warm and engaged person watching you to somebody actually considering working together to actually taking the step. So what is that? Like, how do we go there? What can we solve in the middle of that piece so you can be really clear on the things that make them get to that spot quicker? So this is where I'm going to start. And if we do get some people coming on, I will answer questions. But again, I'm quite happy just teaching. So as long as this is valuable for you, that is all that matters. So what creates the safety for someone to reach out and engage with you? What creates the impetus, the desire, the action of somebody actually reaching out and saying, hey, putting themselves in a vulnerable position, putting themselves in a space where they don't know the answers? What does that take? So there's a few things that you have to be aware of with your clients before you can really take any actions and before you can kind of start working on yourself. You have to be aware that people only do that when they feel very comfortable, when they feel very reassured, when they feel safe, when they feel non-threatened. So what does that actually mean in real life? And I'm sure we have all had examples of it not feeling that way, of you feeling unsafe, of you feeling threatened, or feeling like you are pursued. I've seen so many DMs recently and they just make me laugh because I'm like, it clearly does work for someone, otherwise they literally wouldn't be doing it. So it's just a sheer volumes game of like follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, spam, spam, spam. Like some people must buy it. I can't imagine who because it's really off-putting. But that is a classic example of not feeling safe. Like, why would I want to take action if I feel like I'm being relentlessly pursued for an agenda? No, absolutely no way. Not for me. That's not how I sell. That's not how I buy. So think about it from your client's perspective. What do they need to feel really comfortable, to feel really safe, and to feel really that it's okay? It's a safe space. They can reach out to you. They can reach out to you. They can schedule time to speak with you. That is okay. That is reassuring. It is not threatening. It is very clear what they're getting. How can you create that? So, firstly, don't be the person that is relentlessly pursuing people. Because when you are, and when it's coming from the thought, I have to go out and get them, otherwise, no one's going to come to me. So, this is usually where that thought comes from. And in fact, this is interesting because I teach a blend of both. I teach a blend of attraction marketing, which is essentially you, through your content, through your messaging, through your positioning, attracting people in, and also outbound prospecting. I do both and I teach both because there is a good way of doing outbound prospecting as well. I'm not here to say like one is better than the other, or your way is wrong or my way is right. Although I do think that spamming people endlessly is 100% wrong. Like that's not something I'm ever going to agree with doing. But that's fine. It clearly works for some people over here, and it clearly might work for their clients. So that's their business. But for what I teach and how I teach my clients and what really works for my clients is understanding the thought behind the action. So to illustrate this point, when you are, say, for example, you're gearing up for a workshop, you're gearing up for something that you want to share with people, you're doing a masterclass, you're doing a live, like you can 100% go and invite people. You can invite people, you can message people. If your thought is, I have something incredible to share, it's amazing value, it is free, I can't wait to share it with you. That is the energy, that's the mindset that kind of help my clients to understand and to lose the weirdness feeling of, is it okay if I do this? I'm really sorry to bother you, but oh, I'm really sorry. This is really awkward. I'm really sorry to be messaging. Like that whole energy of like apologetic. I don't think this is of interest, but it might be of interest. Like uncertainty, apologetic, uncertainty, creepiness, essentially. That comes through. That comes through in your messaging. So I again, I teach both. You can reach out to people, you can get people reaching out to you. What's really interesting is that neither way is right or wrong, but there is a really good way of doing both things. So let's start with what compels people to reach out. So if you're thinking, right, I've written a post, I've written some amazing stuff, I am out there, I am being visible, I am sharing stuff, I am doing things on social media, I'm meeting people in real life. Why is nobody reaching out? Why is nobody looking at my offer and thinking, I'm going to take that offer? So one of two things is happening here. They think it's not for them, or they don't believe that it works. Essentially, they think it's not for them because you're not speaking to them, like your messaging is off. You're just speaking around something that is they don't identify with. They don't identify with the problem, they don't identify with the person you're speaking to, so it's not for them. Or they don't think that it works. And where does that come from? That comes from your thought and your belief that it works. Because when you think and believe that your thing it works and it's good and it's going to get people results, you can talk about that in different ways. So the reason people aren't jumping on your offer or aren't signing up to have a sales call or doing all these things like taking actions is there's just something missing. This is not bad news. Like this is good news. And the reason why it's good news is because you get to learn and you get to improve. So some really helpful questions that you can start with is, am I speaking to the person that I help the most? Am I speaking to the person who I know gets the most help from this? Am I calling them out specifically? Do I illustrate what they're going through? Do they connect with me? Am I in that energy of being the safe space, being in the kind of really relaxed but kind of powerful place of I can help you. It's no problem if you do or don't reach out, but I can help you if you want it. Because that is so attractive. That is almost like the leaning back energy of attracting people in. Because when you're always leaning forwards and saying, choose me, people have no option but to lean back. So it's really interesting. It's like a sort of energetic play essentially between you and your prospect. You want to be leaning back, you want to be like fully in you, fully kind of totally chill essentially, providing incredible value, knowing your stuff is amazing and doing the work to like remember and remind yourself how amazing your offer is every single day. This is really, really powerful because when you spend time there, it cannot but come out through your words. It cannot but come out through your content and your copy because it's coming from you, it's coming from the thoughts you're having. So start there. If you wouldn't jump upon your offer and take it with both hands and be absolutely delighted and so excited to have the offer, then there is something missing in that work. And it just means you need to look at your offer, you need to really understand what is it that I love about this so much? Why is this so appealing? Why is it so compelling? Why is it amazing value? Why is it all these amazing things? And then do that work of writing down all those reasons. So I'm like shifting around a lot. I tend to shift around a lot when I do this because I kind of can't get comfy. So do that work first. Like figure out for yourself, where does my offer kind of feel flat to me? Where do I have doubts? Where do I have uncertainty around it? Where, if I saw this offer, would I be like, like that reaction of like, yeah, sounds okay. That is not the reaction that you want your people to have about your offer. You do not want it to be like, meh, it sounds like samey. No, but when you're feeling that way about it, of course your people and your audience, your clients will also feel that way about the offer. So start, like, rewind. I know that it's so tempting to want to go to like, but just how? Just tell me how to get them on calls. Just tell me how to make people like reach out. Like, how does that happen? And there's a bit of a deeper layer going on that no one usually wants to hear because it's really like, oh, really? I've got to do that? That sucks. Can't I just post something and then immediately have 20 people want my offer? Yeah, you can when you've done this work. When you've done that work of like, why are the 10 reasons why this is so freaking amazing and I want it with every fibre of my being? What are the reasons why this is absolutely incredible? Why do I love it so much? Why does it give me all the feelings? And if you don't have that feeling about it, that's just where your work is. So get to work with writing those things down until you're in that space of you feel so lit up by the offer. And by the way, the offer can be paid or the offer can be free. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you are quote unquote selling. You still have to sell people to come to free stuff. You have to sell people on spending time with you. You have to sell people on paying you attention. They're just paying you with different currencies. They're paying you with the currency of time or the currency of attention or the currency of their trust and their knowledge. So don't undervalue those things. They're really, really important things as well. So people will pay you with their attention and their time well before they pay you with money. But until they've spent attention and time with you, they usually don't spend the money. So like, it's really hard to go from 0 to 60 in a very short period of time. Unless it's like a referral, unless you've got people saying, like, bigging you up and being like, this is amazing, to their friends, like, you have to do this. You know, that peer acknowledgement and that kind of social proof is really powerful. It can be really powerful for people. So that's a great example of when it can go really quick, when people are just referred straight in. They're like, I know I want to work with you. But usually, like the other 90% of cases, is it just takes time for people to have spent enough time, have spent enough attention with you for it to be a no-brainer that the next step is then they pay you the money. They just pay you in a different way. So this can be for your free or your paid offer. So until you feel that way about it, it's going to be really hard to get people to reach out, because your feelings about it dictate their feelings and thoughts about it. So I just want to reiterate that your feelings and thoughts about your offer will dictate their feelings and thoughts about your offer. So get very honest with yourself. How are you feeling and thinking about your offer today? Is there anything in there, like I said, that's like a bit boring, doesn't really chime with me, it's not really working, I don't really like it, anything like that? Take it out, change it, put some new stuff in, whatever you have to do to get to that place where you're like, now this is fire, this is amazing. I cannot wait to go tell people about this because I feel so good about it. So that is step one. Your thoughts and feelings about your offer dictate your client's thoughts and feelings about your offer. So make sure they are high quality, make sure they are good, make sure you're spending the time and the work and the effort on you and your thoughts first. Okay, number two, why do people feel the need to act? Like, what causes people to go from passive viewer, consumer, to active participant? This is really interesting to me. So many different kind of psychological triggers that can go into this. In my mind, I see it as kind of like a big weighing scale. You know those old brass scales, like with the thing and then like balance. I don't know why I'm like acting it out. It's not charades, but you know, a big old-fashioned brass weighing scale. So think about your offer in one side and like your client's time, attention, and everything on the other. At some point, no, your value, the value that you're giving, and like your client's attention and time, and eventually money. So at some point, you're just going to be giving so much value. You're pouring in so much value, they're getting so much from it that there is a natural tipping point at which it's like, well, now I just pay this person because I've received so much value, so much transformation up front without ever paying with money. What is going to happen on the other side when I pay with money instead of time and attention, as well as time and attention? What happens then? So I see it as this journey. There is a time, and you don't know the time. This is really, really important to say. We want to manage and we want to control our clients. We want to have that like, but when are they going to come in? You have to release that. You have to not be concerned with that. It's not your job. Your job is purely to show people and talk about what is on offer and share it with everything that you have, with your heart, with your soul, with everything that you're called to share it with, to the right people. That is your job. Your one job in this business that you have. Well, you have to deliver the thing as well. You're probably wearing a few different hats, but really in the first stages, you have one main job. Get your message and your voice out to as many people as you can, because when you do, that's really when you can start seeing the magic of what's happening, because you're like, they're all there, everyone's around you, everyone that you could potentially work with, they're all around you. You're surrounded by clients all around. You just need to figure out the message and the offer that's going to convert them into paying clients. It's really as simple as that. It sounds oversimplified, but our brains love to complicate. Our brains love to make it like a multi-step process that has to be hard, and we have to tick the boxes before people ever become a client. We have to have a website, we have to have a landing page, we have to have an email sequence, we have to have an email list. If you heard any of these things, then yeah, you probably have, because you're all on the internet and that's what everyone's saying. But it's not true, because what do your clients want most of all? They want the result they want. they want to get help for the problem they're having. They want to solve something that's been bothering them, and they are prepared to pay money for that problem to be gone. Just remember that. Like, people spend money all the time on solving problems so they don't have the problem anymore. That is 100% what you're doing. So imagine if you're not out there sharing with people and showing people what's possible. There's going to be a load of people over here that are unserved, that do not get to change, that do not get to get what they want, that do not get the results that they want because you had a thought in your mind of, they've seen me too much, they know this already, they're bored by this, they know exactly what I do, nobody needs to hear this again. Any of that stuff that our brain can tell us, it is all a lie, by the way. And if you need anyone's permission to tell your brain to quit it, you can have mine, because it's all a lie. But it's a very convenient one because it means that we play small, and it means that we don't put ourselves in harm's way. We don't go out and say to some other human being, I can help you with this and I have something that will absolutely solve your problem. Would you like it? So it prevents us, it keeps us, it protects us from having to do that action. That action is freaking scary. So there is a very good reason why your brain is giving you these obstructive thoughts. You just don't have to listen to them. You don't have to play by their rules, and you don't have to make decisions from that thinking. Remember, you've got your clients over here who are waiting. They are waiting for your solution. They've been Googling stuff. They've been up at night. They've been stressing out about this. They've been feeling anxious. They've been feeling crap. They want to change something, and they remain unhelped if you're over here having thoughts about yourself. Just think of it that way. That for me is such a powerful shift, because usually we're in our own heads. We're like, oh, I can't do this. I can't make an offer. I can't post. I can't tell someone how to reach out to me, because we're in our own minds. We're in our own heads, and we're like, all of the stuff I just said before. But remember, when you're focused on that, you're not focused on your client, and your client remains unhelped. Do you want to unhelp your clients? No. You want to help your clients. So make sure your clients get the help they are looking for. So that is step 2. Like, understanding that your job is not to dictate the timeline. It's not to control that. It's not to kind of earmark the people who are perfect and then get really hung up on those people and ignore all these other people over here. Your job is not to worry that people have seen it or heard it or like are bored by your message. No, no, no. Your job is only to get out in front of the people, and by doing this, you may get out in front of loads of people who do not need you. That is fine, because they can just say no. So this is really not a problem. If you have people engaging with your content and like seeing what you're doing and loving what you're doing, that is all well and good. Let's translate this into sales. So we're kind of like going through the whole process essentially of like what it looks like to get people coming to you, and how you can actually sort of capitalize and create the energy of people coming to you because you're a safe space. They know you, they trust you, you've given them so much value, you've already like given them so much, they've already paid you with attention and time, that the next step is paying you with money. Okay, so let's move on to how people, once you've got people on a call, so you've worked on yourself, you've worked on your thoughts about your offer, you've worked on your thoughts and feelings that create excitement, urgency, desire, love, good feelings about your offer. You've written them all down. You're talking about it. You're telling people about it. People miss this. People miss this a lot. Like, if you've posted about your offer once in 2 weeks, it's not enough. It is 100% not enough. Your offer, you need to be talking about your offer until you are bored. If you're getting bored with your offer, you're only reaching a fraction of the level that you need to be talking about your offer. I know, it's annoying. but it's necessary. So you're making offers, you're talking about your offer a lot, you're inviting people to come in, you're inviting them. You have a sign outside your shop window saying open for business. That's what your offer and inviting people in. It's showing people that you're open. It's showing them like, this is how you come in. This is how you come into the shop. We're open these hours, like, come on in. It's really nice. I've baked some cookies. What kind of shop you have. But you will invite people in with your offer. So when you have invited people in, when you've got great energy around your offer, when they are loving what they're hearing and seeing and they want more, they take action, they walk through that door, they take the next step. So that is the sales call. That is where you guys connect and you have a conversation. You are having a partnership conversation, figuring out if you guys want to work together, if you are a fit, if what they want is what you have. It's how I see a sales process, a sales conversation. What is it that you want? Why do you want it? Really interesting. Why do you want it? Sometimes people miss this completely. They're like, what do you want? Great. Let's go into how that's going to happen. But it's more interesting and it's much more impactful for your clients to really get underneath, why do you want that? Tell me about it. Tell me what that means for you. Why is this such a huge thing at the moment? Like, what's this bringing up for you? Why is it important for you at this stage of your life to have this? Tell me all the things. That is how you create connection, trust, and intimacy on a sales conversation and allow space for people to feel okay really sharing stuff with you. Feel really okay to actually share honestly what is on their mind. Because in sales conversations, if you keep it surface level, they're going to also be surface level. And then you will get to a point in the sales conversation when there isn't just enough of an incentive, there isn't enough of an emotional pull for them to be invested and get ready to pay you money right there on that call. So that's when you'll probably hear objections like, sounds really good, I just need to spend some time, I need to think about it, I need to ask my other half, it's a lot of money, anything along those lines is usually because they just haven't seen, they haven't connected with the end result. The good news is you can change that. You have the control throughout all of this to be in charge and to be leading the conversation. So you can start with, okay, let's talk about what you want. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about what's happening at the moment. What is going on for you? Why is that a problem? Like, talk me through the things. And then we're going to talk about what you want and why you want it. So I don't have time in this session to go through my entire sales framework. I will probably do that on a separate session. So, but because we haven't got people live and asking questions, I am going to give you some really actionable objection tips, because this is a huge area. This is where I think most of my clients really struggle. This is where I struggled so much for a very, very long time in my business. It seemed like every single objection was money objection, until I solved that objection for myself. So here's a little mind bending tip for you. Here is something that if you take nothing from this session but this piece of information, this could literally transform your business, literally transform your selling for good. So you're welcome. With my pleasure, you can have this tip. So the objection that you get the most on your sales calls is coming from inside you. It is your objection. If you think the price is too high, you will get every single person coming to you saying it's too expensive. This is too high. The price is too high. Because there's a part of you that hasn't figured that out yet. It hasn't got in alignment essentially with the price. So you have self-doubt, you have doubt, and that is coming out in what you're saying, how you're saying it, just even what they pick up from you in kind of the third dimension or whatever, the fifth dimension. I don't know. But they are getting that from you. So wherever you, and again, this comes back to point one of like really understanding your thoughts and your feelings about your offer. If you write down those thoughts and feelings and you're looking at them and you're like, it's expensive. Like if that's your thought, that is also going to be the thought of your clients. So you just need to go to work on figuring that out, or actually choosing a price that you don't have the thought it's expensive. You could do either. For me, it's easier to just choose a different price because it takes less time and effort instead of spending weeks and weeks trying to convince yourself that you should be charging, I don't know, £5,000 when in fact you're comfortable charging two, or £500 when in fact you're comfortable charging £200. Like the numbers are really, they're kind of totally irrelevant. It's about how you feel about it. So figure out what is the most common objection that you have. Think about your last 3 sales calls. What was the thing that came out the most? Was it people saying, I need to think about it. I need to take time. It takes me a long time to make decisions. Like I need to sleep on it. I need to sit on it. Is that what comes up for you? Interesting. So then you think, where do I sit on decisions? Where do I not make fast, effective decisions? Because that is coming out. That is something that you're then going to also agree with and be like, sure, take all the time you need. Take 2 weeks, cool. Take a month. You don't want to do that to yourself, because what happens when you leave people out in the wild to figure things out by themselves without helping them through actual objections, because I need to think about it is not an objection, but they just haven't figured out what those real reasons underlying are. So it comes out as I need to think about it. But what's underneath could be, I'm shit scared of losing all my money, or I don't think it's going to work, or I've tried stuff before and it hasn't worked. Why is this different? Or it's too much of a risk and I feel unsafe. There could be so many different things underneath that. It's never just, I need time to think about it. So if you let them go and think about it by themselves, they're never going to come back, because they won't have your help to figure out what's going on. It'll just be like, oh, it was that thing that I once considered and now I'm not going to do. Your client remains unhelped. This is the knock-on effect. And some people are a definite no, and that is very good because your client is helped. When they can get to a definite no, they are still helped because they just figured out it was not right for them. So they can go off on their merry way and do what their merry things. And you can also go on your merry way and find some clients who do want the help and who do really want to say yes. So figuring out the objections that you have about your offer, really honestly, there's no judgment here. There is literally like, if you look at your offer and you're like, do you know what, I just kind of don't like this part, or this makes me feel uncomfortable, or subconsciously, I don't want to do this part of it, you're going to find it so difficult to sell and get people to affirm yes, because when they have those reasons and they tell you about them, you're going to secretly, part of you is going to secretly agree. So you will not be able to provide that kind of, that really clear, safe space for them to explore it. You'll just agree with them. You'll be like, okay, I totally get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the cost of living's gone up. I totally agree. So bye. And then what happens? Your client remains unhelped, which we don't want. We want your clients to be helped. So figuring out where those objections are for you is the most powerful thing. It's the most powerful thing that I did in my own selling technique. Once I did this, oh man, I was onto myself. I was like, great, I've cleared this up now. I no longer have feelings and emotions attached to this. So if someone else comes with that reason or that thought, I can help them. I'm not going to agree with them. It's not going to make me feel stressed out, or it's not going to make me feel agree with them or suddenly panicky, because it has no emotion attached to it anymore, because I've sorted that out for myself. So it's really interesting. Like, this is my absolute like game changer. Do this, figure out where your own objections are, And I'd be really curious if you're watching on the replay, just comment replay and write down what is the most common objection that you do get. This is going to be such a useful practice for you. Write it down in here. I will help you figure out what is going on for you so you can get over that. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to deal with that yourself and some coaching on what you can actually do to work through those thoughts and feelings so you can come out on the other side of them, so you can be a really powerful selling person. I'm going to say machine, but it sounds so awful. So you can be really good at selling. So none of this stuff, when people come to you with all of their reasons, which they do and they will, I promise you this will happen. It is not a problem. This is not a reason for you to jump off the call and send them on their merry way without getting the help that they want. It is when you need to lean in and be like, great, I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what expensive means for you. Like, tell me more about that. What does that bring up for you? This is where you lean in to the conversation. This is where you create that space. And you're like, great, that's so good that you understand this. Like, tell me what that means. That helps your clients on such a different level. Even if they say no at the end, you didn't get them to a yes, they got to a no at the end, but you did that, you took that time and you took that attention and you focused on helping what was going on in their mind so they can see how they're making the decision. That is a huge help. That is a huge help for people because they see something that they didn't see before. They'll be like, oh, this is fascinating. I've been not doing things because of this reason. Do I like that reason? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You can't tell. But at least you will have like brought some awareness to what is really driving their behaviors. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Hashtag replay if you're on the replay. I will be doing another one of these next Tuesday. So going on from this, probably talking through the 5-step sales process. So a little bit more in depth, a little bit more of like what you actually do from getting someone from, like on the call all the way through, helping them with this process, all the way through objection handling, just the actual steps that you need to take. So I hope this has helped you. If this is something that you are struggling with at the moment and you're feeling like you want to get support, you need some support in your business and you want to just figure out how this all like pieces together so that you can have consistent clients, so you can have consistent sales, then please do message me. This is literally what I do day in, day out. Is what I coach my clients in on every single day, and I help them to master all of this. So putting it all together in a way that makes sense for you, makes sense for your business, and feels really good. I think we sometimes miss that part. It has to feel really good for you and your clients, otherwise you're just not going to do it and your clients are not going to say yes. So if you would like more of that stuff and you want to just figure out how that looks, how it works, how we can work together, just send me a message. I would love to help you and I would love to chat with you about it. Okay, have an amazing rest of your week and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.